Mr. Boham, I'll come to the point of you deciding that you want to do boxing. But your early childhood beginning, what were they like?
Well, I've never been a fighter. My parents knew me at that time to be very timid.
Okay.
Yes. And I've never fought.
In the street fight?
It's in the street fight. Yes, so it amazes my parents and my siblings as to how did you get into boxing?
Yes.
Which is your main question, right? Well, when I was growing up, my youngest uncle, he was a street fighter, a boxer, and he was training in Sekendi Neighborhood Center with the legendary Eddie Blay. If you've heard the name,
yes.
Eddie Blay was the national champion during the Kwame Nkrumah era. He, an Inzima born Eddie Blay, whose brothers are still some in politics right now.
Okay.
Yes. He was a boxer training in Sekendi, and I used to follow my uncle, my last uncle, to the gym. And well, I didn't know what it was about at that time, just going in and punching bags and all that. But when I entered into my teens, then a friend of mine who was at Abosokai was running a gym. And I happened to be close to him, called E.J. Sabute. He was a customs officer. So he happened to have been transferred out of Accra. Then he says I would like someone to look after the gym for me. And I devoted myself and was visiting the gym, attending to the training sessions of the boxers, and gradually through that I became the representative of the gym on the Greater Accra Boxing Association meeting. So attending the meetings gradually, there I got to meet the late Roy Ankra.
Yeah.
Yes. And they all came to like me. So I ended up, being voted into the Greater Accra Association. From there, gradually, then I was approached with 2 boxers to manage and promote. Fine. So the promotion made me to register a promotion company. At that time, to promote
boxers.
The 2 boxers. He is a Tondaye, now of Atimpoku, and then the late Ramos Ajare. They were then being trained by the late Surprise Sowa. Surprise Sowa, around the Bukum area, Swalaba. That's where the gym was in the house. You can't believe it. It's not the gym, but in the house, cemented house. And when you enter there you see Rankra came out from that gym. You have Tukwe Klote. Most of the Ghanaian boxers were all trained by this Surprise Soa. Yes. So together we worked, and then promoted Tondaye, Ramos Ajare. They all became national champions, and that was the era of retired Major Amaka Amatefu. Yes, that was his era. So they became national champions. Then with Tondaye became the Commonwealth featherweight champion. From there, became the Commonwealth super featherweight champion. And that was a history, because no individual had won 2 Commonwealth titles or held 2 Commonwealth titles before.
Okay.
Rankra was featherweight. Those who went in lightweight, middleweight, and all that. But Tondaya became the first Ghanaian ever under my management. Ramos Ajari became a national champion, and Amakai, Major retired Amakai Matefiu, brought in an opportunity for Ramos Ajari to be the first in the world to fight for the WBC International Championship.
Okay.
That was the time that the WBC International Championship had been instituted.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And Ajari was to be the first to fight for that title, the whole world. We had the approval from Suleiman, the late Suleiman, WBC president at that time.
Okay.
And we were to do an elimination here. Very, very unfortunately, a week to the fight date, Ramos Ajari got stabbed in the rib. So the fight had to be put off, and it was put off for 1 year. But you know, the boxing world or the sporting world, no one waits for anyone.
Yes.
So that opportunity yes, left the shores of Ghana. After 1 year, we did the fight. Ajari had then recovered, but I think his strength had then
diminished.
Yes, diminished. And he happened to be the first Kwawu-born boxer.
Okay.
He was Kwawu-born. Tondaya was an Atimpoku, that is a Kwamu-born. And he was then supported by Colonel Grant, I think Colonel Grant, who became a PNDC secretary.
Yeah.
No, not PNDC, it was under Chiampon, Secretary for Health.
Okay.
Yes. He happened to be marrying an Akwamu lady.
Oh.
So they came together and then were supporting Tondaya. When he's fighting, you can imagine the euphoria that is created by these Kwamus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the father coming around with his walking stick, and all the Bukum guys thought it was a juju.
This one an interesting one. But in your narration of all these, we know Bukum, or maybe it is perceived that Bukum is the factory for the production of
the
boxers.
maker of boxing in Ghana.
That's the point.
Yes.
But all the story you're telling me, you spoke about Izuma, you spoke about Kwewus, and I'm beginning to wonder how come. And in fact, where were you born yourself?
Yes. Yoofi Boham was born on 23rd January 1948. So I'm now approaching my 76th birthday. That's coming this January. My mother's birthday and my birthday is 2 weeks apart.
Oh,
exactly
okay.
2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
My mother being January 9th,
Okay.
and me January 23rd.
Yeah, 23. Okay.
So we are 2 weeks apart.
So were you born in Accra or?
Sekendi Takrade.
You were born in Sekendi Takrade. So you grew up in Sekendi Takrade?
Sekendi Takrade. School there, and then grew up to be meeting Eddie Blay as a boxer, training alongside my uncle.
So talk to let me have something very clear. So it means that even your elementary education was also in Takrade.
Oh, Sekendi Takrade. That's where my parents were. So I'm Sekendi Takrade born, but the name Boham are all Elmina citizens.
Oh, okay.
Cape Coast Elmina.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So we are from Elmina,
okay,
but born in Sekendi Takrade.
So what does the Boham mean?
Boham, I learned it's a colonial, one of the colonial masters' names.
Oh,
yes, okay. You know, the Elmina Castle.
When you colonize boxing.
That's right. You have the Elmina Castle, the Cape Coast Castle. In Cape Coast, our family house, it's across our family house and then the Cape Coast Castle.
Oh, okay.
It's the first ever sports field to come up in the Gold Coast. And that's called the Victoria Park at Cape Coast. That was the park or the field on which the colonial masters started playing football. Yes.
Oh, okay. But since you have a colonial master name, it means that your background was very good. You grew up from a home that had cash, money.
Not exactly, but somehow.
That's right. But then, how would you describe that early beginning of your life?
Right. It was a bit robust. You know, Sekedi Takoradi isn't a place of. At that time, you know, the main occupation or job opportunity there was the harbor.
Okay.
The Takoradi harbor.
Okay.
That's right. My uncles, you know, were working at the harbor,
okay.
the job in ships and all that. And we, the kids, also, you know, we'll be going to the beaches.
Okay.
And then, you know, for instance, I grew up by going to the tennis court and then be catching tennis balls, the lawn tennis.
Okay.
Yes, which a place called, we call them, that place, Beach Road.
Okay.
At Takoradi. And you do that to earn some money. Then go into graphic selling.
See.
Yes. Early morning, you go and collect your newspapers, and then sell before you go to school. While growing old, you have chores in the house. You have to get up early in the morning, do your chores, go and collect your graphic, sell, and as quickly as possible, so that you get the opportunity to go to school. So you could see that it was a very robust life from the beginning. In the morning, if you don't do that, you don't get extra money for your pocket.
Okay.
Yes. So, well,
that's how you would describe it.
Yes.
But what is that thing that you did during your childhood days where you look back at the sometimes you go like, oh, did I actually do this?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. Well, I was an athlete most of the
okay.
Yes, I was an athlete doing the sprints.
Okay.
And when our childhood, I started after the day nursery. I entered elementary class 1, thereabout, at the Howard Memorial Primary School at Takoradi. This school, it's opposite the state transport at
okay.
Takoradi. From there, advanced to the Kesley Hayford Memorial, and left Takoradi straight away to Nsawam. Yeah, my uncle picked me to Nsawam. Right. At Takoradi with the athletics, that propelled me to a higher level in sports. At Sekedi Takoradi, okay. And then the Western region.
So you were famous.
That's well, not that famous.
but as talented
yes,
athlete,
yes.
probably.
But there was one guy who I could never beat, and that really pained me, because I was always second to him.
Okay.
I try as I did, I never. So in sports, that was my main disappointment. For not.
So what did you do? What did you do?
I had to be content with my position as second. Yes.
but off the track as an athlete, what is that childhood thing that you did? That you go like,
right?
Maybe you go to your mother's bag and pick her coins or what?
Oh.
Did you do that?
Oh yes. You cannot run away from that. my mother grew up by. Learning how to bake from my grandmother.
Okay.
Yes. No, they were born in Nsawam.
Oh, okay.
So that was the trade of my grandmother. Bread and cake baking. And that was taken over by my mother.
Okay.
Now, while they were busy baking, will be, you see Takoradi Polytechnic.
Yeah.
Opposite Takoradi Polytechnic, was a very big swampy area.
Oh, okay.
And that leads to another another place known as New Takoradi.
Okay.
So we always pray for rain, and that's where we go for crab trapping.
Oh, okay.
Crab, the red one.
Yeah.
Yes, with that piercing. So we went catching the crab, and one time the crab ran. We stood, and something said, "Oh, try and then use your hand, dip your hand into the hole." I pulled my hand and the crab was hanging there, and I was shouting. Say, what? Okay. I was able to be rescued.
Yeah.
When we got home, if you do mention, you'll be last in addition to the pain. So I kept it to myself. But then I was suffering. So at the end of the day, it was detected that this is what I went doing, and I was really lashed to the core. The second one was when we go to school, we pass by this kebab chaps, chichinga. So we collect the tidbits and then have it as a kebab on the kebab stick.
Okay.
We press it. Then we will be roasting it gradually. Whilst one will be turning the kebab,
yes,
you will also be fanning it with your mouth.
You have to blow the air.
Yes, blow the air so it came to my turn. When it came to my turn, I was blowing the air. Then someone kicked the other party, and the fire straight away to my mouth. What blisters and everything. Yeah, how do I go home? How can I? What do I say? Well, I got home all right. What's wrong with you? Couldn't talk. What's wrong? Couldn't talk. Third one, you were about to receive slabs. Then I said, no, this is what happened when we went to school. Instead of going to school, so you are those kobolos. You're learning to be a kobolo. Early morning, I was marched to school. Complaint was made to the headmaster. Headmaster went to the class and asked for all those who were in my company. And that became a very big problem because all those involved, their parents were invited to the school, and I really regretted. Everybody was punished. Everybody, including me, who was even having my blisters.
But I'm sure those things actually taught you lots of lessons.
Oh, yes. You know, to talk about it and laugh.
Yeah.
Yes. I have only one classmate in Takoradi who used to call me. When he calls me, then we laugh over it.
Yeah,
he said,
old days,
those days.
Yeah.
And when my little brother would come to the class and then be shouting, Yoofi, Dada Frau, to the class teacher will ask, hey, where is he from? He come all the way from the house to the class.
I say Dada Frau.
Yeah, Dada Frau. For what? Nobody knows. And up to today, my friend Odro mentioned it when he calls me on phone.
And then the Frau athletics to Frau. So why didn't you do the athletics more?
Oh, actually, I stopped it. I lost interest in it.
What happened?
I lost interest in it and rather stick to table tennis.
Table tennis, okay.
Yes,
okay.
Stick to table tennis. So right from Nsawam back to Takoradi and all that, table tennis was the game that I loved. Yeah.
Then table tennis, you came to Accra.
Yes.
In fact, you didn't even go to the factory for production of boxes. But you went in there to do boxing.
That's right. And when I handled those boxes, I never regretted. That's Tondaye. They made me to be very popular. The fraternity,
So was that the foundation of your decision to go like okay, let me go all out into boxing? Because you talk about athletics, you've spoken about tennis.
Tennis, yes.
But you switched
to boxing.
To boxing.
Yes.
And it is boxing that you actually built a wonderful career for yourself.
Right.
So let me have a perfect picture. How long did your friend at Abosokai leave the gym for you to manage that you were able to?
That's he went on transfer, even though the place was his family home. He went on transfer. He was on transfer, and so I handled it for a couple of years, about almost 10 years, till he came back. Yes, and he became a referee judge of boxing as well. EJDO Sabute. He's known in the boxing fraternity.
Was he excited to see what you did?
Oh yes. He's excited up to today, even though he's now an invalid. Yes, and retired invalid. But he was very excited because I was promoting his boxers, managing them, including those that I was managing from Surprise Soas Gym. And his past boxers, Peter Inisa and all that in those days, all became national champions, you see, through me. Now come to talk, it's from there that came in Aikoti and Afrekoti.
I'll come to that. But tell me, how were you spotting the talents, knowing that this person has got a talent and has a career?
Well, not that I was gifted by magic or anything to spot the talent. It's most of the time the coaches will recommend the boxers. Oh, this is this chap is a promising chap, and he needs help. Oh, is that so? Fine. Let me go in to give the necessary help. I was then in the commerce field. Yes, I was into importing and exporting. And I had passion. The passion grew by itself.
Then you also had money to invest.
Yes. So the passion grew by itself. And, when I was approached with Aikoti and Afrekoti, I said, no, it's something which I felt was too would be too difficult for me to manage, because I had then not had all the necessary experience.
But so, were they already top quality boxers?
They were from the Olympics. I signed them on straight from the Olympics. And they were top Ghanaian boxers who Amaka Amatefu, the late, the retired Amaka, had sponsored to Cuba. As amateurs, sponsored to Cuba. They were in the national team. And Amakai was very, very particular about those two boys. You see, and I had come to, Amakai had come to like me very much. So he said, Yoofi, take on these boys, handle them, because there are a lot of parasites around. They will only go in, sign the boys, and at the end of the day, will be pursuing their own personal interests. And you get them, destroyed. Their careers destroyed. So it was
Amakai personally who gave them the boxes?
That's right, Amakai. But then they were under the management of, loose management, under some other guys from Mamprobi. So I went in, and that was the time that Raincraft Promotion was handling Azuma Nelson and Nanaya Okunedu.
Top boxers.
That's right. And they happened to be very close friend of mine, Raincraft, because they were all friends to my brother-in-law way back in US. So at events, we all sit
do stuff together.
Yes, behind a table and then a chat together. At that time was this the now present Golden Tulip, which has been renamed.
Oh, okay.
That's where we used to meet. So they were approached, and they said, "Oh, Yoofi has toiled with these 2 boxes. The top level one could go was the Commonwealth, that is Tondaye. Ajare became a victim of stabbing. So the advisor should take on the 2 boys who were then fresh from the Olympics, having fought 1 or 2.
Which year was this?
Oh, in fact, yes.
It should be in the early 1990s.
Yes. So I took them on with the advice of a son of the late E.C. Kwe, who is now in Chicago. Who goes by name Abando. He was 100% for the boys. So with him, we set up a gym, and then there was a gym already ongoing, that is Akotoku gym, which was set up by the late Atukwe Clottey. And that gym was, producing tough boxers. Yes, and Atukwe Clottey, had already produced 3 of his sons. Joshua Clottey, and 2 others, Joshua Clottey and 2 other Clotteys. They were all 3, and they were well-titled, promising boxers. But very unfortunately, they all fell by the wayside, and that was the era of the beginning of Azuma Nelson as well. You see, Azuma started under a coach and then graduated to Atukwe Clottey. Yes. So that was where Amaka Matefiu and some other dignitaries came together to be managing the Akotoku Academy. So Azuma passed through that academy, passed through Atukwe Clottey, under the hands of Atukwe Clottey, alongside the 3 Clotteys, Judas Clottey, Tonda Clottey. Yes, and then that's right. Not Joshua. Joshua is
he's young.
Yes, very, very young. Yes. He wasn't even, I think.
I can imagine.
Yes. Yeah. So these Clotteys were the 3 Clotteys and Azuma Nelson were the bright stars for the country in those days. Well, they fell by the wayside. They all traveled. They stayed in the diaspora, UK, for instance, and I happened to have the privilege of visiting the gym in UK, the Thomas Becket gym, which had Atukwe Clottey's man-size image. And that was where my boxers were lodging and then training. That's right. Kismaila, Tondaye, that's where they were all lodging, yes. So with that, I came to manage them, then started to climb the ladder. That was the era that South Africa apartheid was really
at its peak.
That's right, at its peak. So I had to, you can't do boxing alone. I had to rely on friends outside. And the main friend that I relied on was the late Ano Ekufi, who went by the name The Black Cat.
Yeah. Yes, it's quite a familiar name.
That's right, Ano Ekufi. He was a goalkeeper, a guy who kept the post of Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, that's what I say, it's a very familiar name.
That's right. And then
In fact, stories has it that he was that goalkeeper that even if he concedes a penalty, he will tell him, even if the argument is not a penalty, so let him take the penalty and catch it. And
That's
catch
right.
it.
That's right. And he was one person who, with Pele, not Ghana Pele.
Yeah, well Pele.
Well Pele. Yeah. Set up the Santos Professional Soccer Soccer Club.
Okay.
Yes, there is an old picture of all of them in. Yeah. So back in US, through him, I met Pele. Yes, I met Pele in New York. We all had a good time.
Yeah.
Yes, that was when I was negotiating to get Ikote and Afrikote to the US. So it was there. Now I was able to get Anwe Kofi. I do send him. In those days, communication wasn't as easy as today. I do get him to visit the IBF, the BBC, of the meetings and all that. But then IBF had its headquarters in New Jersey. Yes, and Anwe was living in New Jersey. So I do send him messages, send him to the New Jersey office, and he presents it. And so through this, I was able to get the two boys ranked and then started climbing the ladder of all the 4 world bodies. IBF was then one of the 3 world bodies. The BBO was then new. But the 3 major bodies were the WBC, WBA, and IBF. So IBF office in New Jersey gave Anwe Kofi, an easy access to the office. So we were able to get the boys ranked. Now, with the apartheid, you have the WBA with the apartheid, the BBC, IBF were not. They weren't having South Africa in their good books. So that was the time that even you can't travel from Ghana to South Africa. You have to pass through London. So I was able to get the boys ranked by WBA as well. One morning I received a phone call, invited to the ministries, and that was the time Castle 2 was there. I had to answer as to how the boys got to be ranked at the WBA, because Ghana is not to be with the WBA because of apartheid, and it was a hell. It was a hell for me. Well, it ended peacefully, and we started, we kept on going, got all the necessary documents and put in their visas application. It took 1 year for us to receive approval for them to go for their visas. In that, then Ikote was lured by Raincraft. That is how I got to lose Ikote.
How disappointing was that? Were you disappointed you lost him?
Oh yes, I was disappointed, and my spouse at that time took all the papers heading towards the court to restrain Ikote from fighting. Now the manager in US, Fred Berg, the late Fred Berg, meanwhile also took up the matter in US. And anytime that Ike was fighting, Fred will issue summons. He was a Jew.
Did you have a contract with Ike?
Oh yes.
And it was going for how many years?
Initially, it's always for 4 years.
For 4 years.
Either 3 or 4 in those days.
In those days.
Yes.
And it means that he breached the contract.
Oh yes. Yes.
So when he breached the contract, did he compensate you?
Oh no. I didn't receive even a penny. Yes. I didn't receive even a penny. And it wasn't a breach which was just smoothly done. It was rough. It was something which was really... I took the boys to the UK. for Alfred's Commonwealth Championship fight. So the boys they grew up as if they were siblings.
Okay.
Because of the pronunciation of their names, a lot of people thought they were brothers.
Kote and Kote.
Kote, yes.
Okay.
But Kote is K-O-T-E-Y.
Yeah.
Kote is Q-U-A-R-T-E-Y. So, when we went for the Commonwealth Championship, that was the first Commonwealth title fight amongst the two.
So they fought each other?
No, among the two,
okay.
for the two. So, straight away, Ikote came to tell me that, and that was my mistake, that a friend of mine, Alhaji Hearts, has...
Alhaji Hearts, former of Hasafo?
Oh, yes. Alhaji Hearts has gracefully told him that he will fund his ticket to London so he will go along. I said okay, because Alhaji Hearts had been my friend for many years. When he was a ball boy and all that, he was my friend during those days. And so I agreed, and that was my downfall.
That's why he was lured away from you?
Yes. When I agreed, we all went to UK to support Alfred Kote.
Yeah.
After the fight, Alfred won. They should come home, and Isaac and the coach Oko Damte decided to stay back. Oko Damte wasn't a coach. I made him a coach. Bureaucratically, which has a meaning. When I say bureaucratically, on paper.
Okay, maybe I don't want. Maybe the literal meaning of bureaucracy also maybe different from what you're
paper way. Yes. All that what I did was, they were four, with the late Isaka, Ibole Isaka, and all that. Kofi Kwe, they were four boxers. Kofi Kwe, Ibole Isaka, Ikote, Alfred Kote in that gym, and I happened to handle all the four. Now, that gym had Atuku Krote's son, Philip Krote, as the coach.
Oh, okay.
And all along, Oko Damte had been their friend.
So you had a suspicion that Oko Damte played a role in how Ikote left?
Oh no, he didn't have he didn't play a role at all. Honestly, he didn't. But what I did was, for us to have easy in documentation for visas and all that, Ike record, I made it, I prepared it in those days, not today like today's boss rec. I prepared it and put a trainer's name under.
Oh, okay.
And sign. So I allotted Oko Damte's name to Ike Record. Ike's record.
Oh, okay.
And that of Alfred Kote was Philip Krote. So that application goes to the embassy. Then each boxer has his trainer. You see.
I see. I can imagine. So how did you resolve the issue with Ikote?
No, but my wife had wanted to bring to go to court, but then we were having one elder, O'Hara Jackson Davis, who was a WBC referee judge, and O'Hara happened to be a lodge member of my father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And just entering the court premises, he met my spouse. Oh, where are you going? Because he knows my spouse. Yeah. Because my spouse and O'Hara Davis were lodge members.
Oh, okay.
Lodge. In those days, we have lodges. So she said, oh, what has happened is what he is sending the distance, summons to court. It's been prepared. He said, no, don't go. Come. We talk about it. So
the issues were resolved out of court?
Not resolved. She came and she followed him, and there was a standstill. So a fight was to happen, which was to be promoted by Ringcraft. That was, I think, African title. And I quickly prepared an injunction.
We're having a special conversation, a conversation that surrounds how Ghana sports used to be the most dominant thing simply because talents in obscurity were found through school sporting activities. But over the years, some have described the school sports as a system that is dead. Others have said it has taken a complete nosedive. While there are those who actually believe that school sports is still the area that has the potential of getting us talents to feed into our various sporting disciplines. One man who was in charge of physical education at the Ghana Education Service, Mr. Emmanuel Domenya, is here to speak to us. Have a clear understanding of what they were doing that brought school sports and produced the talents that we were witnesses and what is not actually happening right here. As I mentioned, Emmanuel Domenya is my guest today on Prime Take. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, my brother. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. How are you doing?
That's great. We are living.
Hope everything's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, nice to have you and to finally see you after such a long time. I remember we did the SHS Sports Festival together in Cape Coast.
Sure, 2017.
That was it?
Precisely.
6 years ago. Interesting. Nice to finally have a conversation surrounding school sports once again. Even after 6 years, since 2017, we had several conversations about this very area, and
sure.
We need to have a clear understanding of what's actually happening. But first of all, let's have a perfect picture of who Emmanuel Domenya is and how you got into the physical education space when everyone is chasing the other areas.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, simply, this is Emmanuel Domenya. I was born on a Thursday, so yeah.
Okay.
I was Christian Emmanuel. Then, you know, as usual, the family name, Ghana tradition, Domenya. So I'm Emmanuel Domenya. I'm from a small village. No, a town.
You know what's going on?
It's not a village, okay. It's a town because Ghana to this one, I say village.
Yeah.
Yeah. Few kilometers north of Hawaii.
Okay.
Likwemate.
Okay.
Currently, the new Gwang district.
Okay.
That's the capital.
Okay.
So should I say village? No.
It's a semi-village.
Come on. So honestly, I was born and bred there. My parents are now late.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Basically farmers. My father was a very astute blacksmith that produces guns, pistols, etc. Yeah. They're all late now. I started school there in Likwemate, RC Primary. Then I had to join my uncle in Ketekrachi. Then from Ketekrachi, was transferred to Krachin Kwanta. He was an educationist, a head teacher.
Okay.
So I ended my middle school in Kwanta, start the then common entrance to the secondary school. I passed. I was given government scholarship. But because I was with him and my talent in sports and sports performance, the then Nkwanta Secondary School said no, they'd rather take me on and give me bursary instead of going to Hawaii Secondary School with government scholarship.
Okay.
And also my uncles too, I would have been leaving him. So they could not even condone and I had to remain in Nkwanta. So I started in Nkwasek. But then it was a new school, it was in the third year.
Okay.
So I was there, then finally my uncle got transferred to Kolong, also a town near Hawaii. But the science school then wasn't the type that I could have continued that. I got to Form 3 in Nkwanta Secondary School in Kwasek. So I had to go back home to the small village and then complete at Lisek, Likwe Secondary School.
So your education was more of switching from one area to the other?
Yeah, sort of, brief. So after the Likwe Secondary School, I got admission to St. Francis Training College. But all along the line, I was always sports prefect because I combine effectively sports with academics.
Okay.
Sometimes you're somewhere camping, then you come at 2 weeks to exams. You have to learn hard and write and pass. So I wasn't solely for sports. I actually like academics too.
As well.
So that was how it came about. Franco was a sports captain. Then after Franco was posted to a village in the border town, Leklebi, Dugan.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught there for just 1 year. They moved me to Okwai City itself and detached me as a PE teacher in some schools, though I was attached to Holy Rosary Middle School. And from there, my supervisor saw me one day and said, no, you are very good, you are doing well. Why don't you further? So I believe I want 1 more year to serve before I go, so you can go. So after serving for 2 years, I left for Winneba.
Oh, okay.
Where I actually did sports.
Okay.
So I did my diploma there, completed, and then I was posted to first Winneba Senior High School. Okay. We realized that in Winneba, no, in Central Region, because of the advantage they have with the sports college, they always took the first 5, the top best, and made sure they remain in the Central Region, then the rest can go. So I didn't know how come. I was just posted to Winneba Senior High School. Though I didn't choose the place. So I attended the interview, and I was actually placed on the timetable. Okay. I went and saw it. One day I went back to campus, we were clearing something. Then a colleague of mine from Kumasi came and said, hey, you are still here. They posted you in Kumasi. They posted you. I said, what? So I took the advantage to go and then see what it was. And indeed, Ashanti Region picked me up and posted me. I went to the HR, I said, you? Yes. They opened the ledger, they said, you have been put to 2 different schools, so Joasu Day Senior High School and Efficiency Secondary Commercial School. I didn't know anywhere around the place.
Was it after you were done with Winneba?
Yes, after I was done with Winneba, we were to be posted. So Central took me, Ashanti took me. So I settled for Ashanti. Why, I can't tell anyway. So,
but there should be a reason.
Well, I wasn't sure at the time because I took Volta Region as my posting place. But I found myself in Central, I found myself in Ashanti. I actually consulted one of my tutors at the training college then. So you can adapt to changes, so go. But I wanted to stay close to my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm close to her. So he said, you can go, you can adapt. One day they didn't bring you to the Volta Region, you can make it. So I decided to be in Ashanti, Efficiency Senior High School. So the one who was in charge of the posting to say, okay, you just say it's a day school. You let me put you to Efficiency Senior. So I went. And for close to 10 years, massively, I brought sports alive in that school. You know, Ashanti and Tako, it wasn't easy. There was no single year within the period that I did not qualify with its personals. Sometimes
were you the sports master in the
I was the sports master, PE tutor. I taught PE and then biology at the time. So for almost 10 years, I decided to further.
Okay.
So I went to do my degree. Immediately after that, I came back. So I was posted to Kumasi Technical Institute, where I worked. Within a year, my people told me, no, I've done enough in the class, and so I should be a district PE coordinator. So I had nothing to say. I said, whatever my service I needed, I was ready to work. So they sent me first to Mansun Kwanta, that's Amansia West, in Ashanti region. I worked for 2 years. They said, no, you are doing so well. There's vacancy at Tepa, afternoon of Ashanti. So they posted me there, and I continued my work. So 2004, I left Mansun Kwanta to Tepa. So I was in Tepa up to 2015, where I spent most of my time as district PE coordinator, Ashanti Regional Sports Coach, athletics, volleyball, all that. In fact, I was high ranking within the press. Then, as it went on, I was upgrading myself too. So I got to the rank of Deputy Director.
Deputy Director of?
Education.
Education.
Yes. But I was still with sports.
Okay.
So any director that came, looking at my work, gave me an additional responsibility. So throughout my being district PA coordinator, I had additional responsibility. When I got to the deputy rank, I was deputy for finance and administration.
Okay.
With sports still attached. Then I went to statistics research, monitoring evaluation, deputy director, still with sports. Then finally they sent me to HR, human resource development and management. I went there, still as sports and deputy. Then finally, God bless me, I attended the interview I was due and I got promoted to directorship.
Okay.
All in TEPA. So I was posted to Sechirafran Plains as a district director of education.
Okay.
So that was where I started at full administrator. Not long, one code meeting, my regional director just said, you, I'm posting you to the move. Go to Adansi South near the BRC. I was looking at him, said, no, you go. Take over from so and so. So I got myself ready, bag and baggage. I went to New BRC from Sechirafran Place. That was Drobonso. So I got settled there, started work. It wasn't easy. Then one day we were at court meeting. That's Conference of District Directors of Education in Takrady. So I was just picked up by the then headquarters authority. No, you accompany the Director General to sports festival in this. I said, who am I to complain? So I had to cut short that program and then accompany the Director General to the place, supervise the work, everything was done. Came back. As the officer, I had a letter that we transferred to the headquarters to take over physical education and sports as director in charge of sports and national coordinator of PE. Well,
that's basically the journey.
That is how the journey. So, but before then, just before getting to directorship, I went back to school again and did my master's in administration and management, education administration management. So that was how I got to the headquarters and got myself into the highest position of sports in the country.
In the country. That's quite an interesting one. And when you were in school, which activities were you taking part in? Footballer?
I was an all-rounder, but I did more of athletics and the hand games. I did little in football.
Were they long distance races or the sprint ones?
Short distances, 100 meters, 200 and 400. But my specialized area was 400, where I set a record when I was in Winnipeg for the tertiary.
Okay. Yeah. Which record was this? Can you remember the time? It's been long.
44.59 at the time.
Wow.
I was being used as a beginning pick at the time because our institution were trying to research into...
Was it the 800 meters or which race that you did the 44?
400 meters.
400 meters?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, at the time...
This should be qualifying you to world championships.
Oh, I was good at the time. You see my length. You see my legs.
The height is in there.
So, no, at the time, something helped me. My department, the lecturers were trying to see whether 400 meters can be a sprint race. They were researching, because people were saying 400 meters is a sprint race.
Yes.
You know, 100 meters sprint, 200 meters
sprint.
So I didn't know I was being used as a guinea pig. They would set people there, 4 guys. So they would do 4 by 100, and I would do 400 flats. So they would change at each quarter.
Yeah.
So they would arrange us, yes, are you ready? Go and warm up, we go, pam, and I take off. And I had to sprint to the end. So I was sprinting.
They were changing the baton.
They were changing the baton, 4 people against me. So I was sprinting. Immediately I take off. By the time I take the first curve, I've taken that guy. The stretch, I'm gone. The next curve, I'm gone. If it's about almost always a time, 40 meters with the finish, then they'll start catching me up. No, we did this severally.
Because at that point, you've lost the gas in you.
We did this severally. So I was told, okay, now why don't you slow down here a bit and then coast for the next 200 meters and finish.
Yeah, hard.
One, Mr. Baba, he's late now. Professor Pufa, he's late now. And then a third one, those who were the anchor of that program. So it wasn't a surprise when I made the record that year for the tertiary, 400 meters flat.
But during your days, how would you describe the school sport then?
No, school sport was very vibrant. To the extent that though it was academics, you still want to be there. You know, and school, sports were holistic from the very scratch. And mind you, when we talk about physical education and sports, that course is a course on itself. Okay, every teacher, if you don't pass that paper, you will not get your set A. You know, those days, it's a prerequisite. It's a core of the whole general program.
Around which year was this?
Actively, I was in school, let's say 80 to 90, 95 thereabout. I completed training in 85, Franco. And this was on, because if you don't pass P, you'll be referred. You cannot take the set A. So those days, every teacher in every classroom you find yourself, P is on the timetable. Yeah. You take your kids out and do something on PE. And every teacher was comfortable doing something. You change, your kids change, you do PE, you come back to the classroom. Senior high school, no exception. For the senior high schools, so we had the technical personnel there who are all over the place. So PE at that time was very, very high on the table. And so we did. We made PE so interesting that every child wanted to be involved. The government supplied balls to schools. We had the equipment. Every school had a field, because you cannot build a school without a football field attached. Goggisburg, you remember?
Yeah. And even it cuts across. Yeah.
That is it. But today they are even using school fields for other projects. And teaching of PE in the training college is almost out. Because those who are being churned out now, they have basically no knowledge in PE. And as we went along, there should have been a period that they should start feeding the basic schools with the technical men. So each basic school, or as it were, GHS primary, should have a PE personnel who should organize issues. At our time, like I said, in my very second year in the teaching, when I entered, I was detached, that PE detached teacher. And I did work in 10 schools. Though I was attached to a particular school, I organized sports, made sure that things went well in 10 schools within the area. And there were a lot of us, PE detached teachers. That was even before I went to specialize in physical education at Winneba. So the training I had at college, being a very good sports person, so they identified us as such. And those PE, sports was okay. Because once you are a technical person, aside just running and jumping, you know the skill, the technicalities involved. Is this how to do this? I want a long jumper. I'll line them up, put a line, hey, jump, double step, you jump, and then I look at the strength in your leg and the measure. So you easily pick kids that you go and do this. You teach the person, just look at the structure, and you develop talents everywhere. So these are some of the things that are lacking now. And I don't know.
How did we get it wrong? Considering all what you're telling me.
You see, our policymakers, sometimes policies are put across without getting to the technocrats. For instance, people are complaining that people attending churches is coming down. Why? How do you take religious and moral education out of the curriculum? Where is the morality? You understand? Those days, especially the institutions that have school, the churches, Catholic, I attended Catholic school throughout. And Franco is an astute Catholic training college. So, that thing is embedded in you. But today, it's like certain things are being pulled out.
The 10 Commandments.
How do you want to develop sports, and yet you kill sports at the basics? Suleiman Tari, I was on the bench. Do you know how he was picked for the junior team?
Tell me.
We were playing. Ashanti was playing, that Milo games, Ashanti was playing the North. You know, the Northerners are very strong. And Sule, if you study him very well, he's a bit gawky. He pushed a ball from the center circle, 1-2, and gave a shot, and it was a goal. But then when we are doing this, the national coaches, they come around to scout. This was the base on which they picked Sule Muntari, because the boy had powerful shot in the left foot. So the guy consulted, this boy, so he's very young. He was then in Okes. That was how he got, the eyes caught him. And there he is, from school, direct from school. Not to talk about the SCN and the guys who actually brought that Black Star to the world stage. They were all our products. So you see, now, most of the periods, most of the schools, the administrators, senior high school and others, they want to go more for academics than sports. I know if I'm like that, the lazy sports teachers easily give their periods off for other maths, English, the core subjects to be taught, because P is on the timetable, but gradually it's being relegated to the.
So tell me one thing. You just spoke about something quite interesting, which has to do with how Sule Muntari, one of the players who has played 3 World Cups for Ghana, yes. 2006, 2010, and 2014. He was found through the school sports system.
Milo games.
Milo games.
Yes.
There are also other sporting disciplines, as in athletics, as in even this
volleyball, basketball.
And all that. And I remember when I was in secondary school, and as much as I was a terrible player.
That's right. But you played.
Yeah, I did.
Irrespective.
In fact, I even played a bit of golf. I played a bit of hockey. So
why? Because the instinct was keep up in you. Your sports teacher will make things available.
Mr. Abel Peter, that was his name. I still remember his name.
That is
It's been like 15 years. But
you see, the interest was there, and the people were interested, so the teachers were serious. Sometimes not even a technical person, but just a teacher who is a performer will take you through. But these days, no, not at all. Everything is academics, and in the academics, we are not seeing it. Because for a child, right, to have the energy, the stamina, or whatever it is to go, you need to be physically fit. This is a sound mind is found in a sound body. So it isn't for nothing that our, predecessors, so that's our forefathers, made sure that we combine academics with sports. It's an integral part of the academic program. But once it's being relegated, that is it. You go and sit down, you can't even walk. No, the kids are too feeble because they don't exercise. If you are young, you don't exercise. What are you doing to yourself?
I'm sure when you were in the system, served as district coordinator and all that, I'm sure probably you saw stuff that kind of suggested that the school sports system was taking a nosedive. What did you do as a technical man to advise that if we don't take our time, within the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years, we'll be losing massive talents?
Thank you. We always had federation meetings. The whole tanker men in the country and women, we met annually. Then it came biennally. We meet and discuss sports for about a week. The national coordinator will assemble all PE personnel. Then we go and sit for about a week to discuss and give proposal. These proposals never got anywhere. It was something we were doing at the time. But when we realized that there was nothing coming out, because imagine the whole country, PE personnel will meet. We divide ourselves into groups, the various disciplines, then we interrogate the system as it was and where we are going to, what we need to do. All these things were done. But, the policy makers and the politicians, let me be frank, this time around, we are not being ruled by the National Development Agenda. We are being ruled by manifesto. You understand? So now I say, when I come as a leader of this country, as a president, this and that is what I'm going to do, whether it conforms with the national development plan or not. And sometimes we promise so much that once we even forget some of the promises we did.
That's quite an interesting one.
Yes. And therefore, when we allow ourselves to be, ruled by a manifesto of a group of people, not the national development agenda, then, for instance, I was fortunate to be a member of the NYA board, National Youth Authority, when I was in office. We realized that no, the youth, the teeming youth, need some centers, because at the time, how many sports stadia do we have? So we sought out to build 10, we called them at the time, youth
resource
centers. We started very well, made sure things were going on, then it curtailed. No, actually, that board was dissolved when the second term of the president came. I was no longer a member. I had then left office too. Nanabi has left. Yusuf, the current Minister for Sports, is now an honorable MP.
Yeah.
He's left the board. Our board chair then was Francisca Otin, the youngest MP at the time.
Yeah.
She was the board chair. Slatete, English Amanfro, was the CEO. And we were very busy building these stadia. We call them youth resource centers, yes, across the country. The Volta one hurriedly was put into place for the last Independence Day. Yeah, these were the structures were massive. These were the structures we were putting up, but it died down. But as I speak now, Hajide, Honorable, is trying to pick the one after the other to make sure he completes it. My Bolga Festival should have taken place in that facility because we were hopeful though.
Yeah, I remember after the 2017 festival,
exactly.
You were moving the next festival to Bolga.
Exactly. We were hopeful it to be ready because the rate at which we were going, then suddenly the contractors, whether they started misbehaving or because we knew there was money at NYA to be able to do these things. Dilly-dally.
Would you say it is due to lack of political will for some of these things to happen? Because it's the politicians who take the decisions.
That's why I'm saying that some decisions are taken without the technocrats.
No, even if the technocrats is involved and the technocrats offers an advice, and because the politician has got a political interest, definitely he will have to take a political decision.
So you want me to tell you that? You know it.
But that's the obvious question that I'm asking.
No, you see,
you have been there, you have
fact,
interacted with them, and you have a perfect picture of how the system was and how we can get better.
The question is, if we have sought out to do that project, and we give ourselves time, by the end of the tenure of the first year, the first term of the president would have commissioned all the 10 recreation resource centers. And if it didn't happen, so the question is, why? You understand? Why? What happened? So we leave it as it is.
No, we cannot leave it as it is. Because
no, definitely. No, I say I would do it. At the end of the day, I didn't do it. Or I curtailed. So,
as a national PE coordinator and director of sports at the Ghana Education Service,
headquarters, yes.
What were the major things you put on the table for the development of school sports in Ghana?
Thank you. When I took over office, already I was one of them at the grassroots.
Yes.
So I need specifically what to happen at the grassroots. So I needed to empower all PE personnel across the country. So I met my regional coordinators, told them what to do to meet all the district, municipal district coordinators. You know, we are well structured such that when you say AB at the headquarters, it goes down to the last person. All right? So we came together. We already were in the system before I got there, so I knew what it was. I thought I was leaving the system because it was becoming bored.
Yeah.
So I became a director, oh, hallelujah. I'm not into administration, so I jumped out of sports. But I made sure in my district, they never lack sports. Equipment were provided. The coordinator, fortunately, was my mate. Imagine you are a district director and the PE coordinator is your mate.
Yeah.
So he lacked nothing. We did all we could, raising our teams and everything. And that went all through. At the point, I thought, oh, I'm not free, I've left sports. Only to be told, hey, go and be the number one in sports in the country so far as education is concerned. So knowing all that was the background, I climbed up and then started fixing things. For over 10, 15, 20 years, I was the only one who organized capacity building exercise for all the technical men across the regions, across the country. So I divided them into 4. You come, we meet for a week. We go through developmental issues, retrain you, give you modalities, what you should do and what you should not do, and how we could revamp sports. And it was a shocker. And I did this to meet the return to sports after the COVID.
Yes.
I brought all of them round and give them training, retrain them, skill-wise, what have you. I discussed my director general, he understood me, and they sponsored it. So we made sure, I also made sure that all sporting activities ran. Funding was provided for all sporting activities to run, right from inter-classes, inter-sections, inter-school, inter-zonals, inter-district to inter-regionals. From 2016 till I left office, we never failed. I remember at the point I was in my office, when we were doing the under 13, all the guys were scouting around. I was the local, that's when they came in and said, oh, Charlie, we spotted this boy at so and so and so and so. When I realized the boy was in a village somewhere in Sefi. So they wanted the boy, I said, oh, you relax. So how can we go? Where's the place? I said, sit down. I just called my regional coordinator that I needed this people, who is in charge of this district. He mentioned, I said, I need him. In my office, within 10 minutes, we contacted the boy and the parents and spoke to them. That was the structure. Sefi, a village in Sefi. Because when we organize my program, a lot of people come around, the coach teams and others, to scout. Yes. This is one example I'm giving you. So I had data. So when we went for these games, I have my own computer, the pictures of the kids, I have data. Calls India, she will tell you. Because we want to monitor them. We knew this was how we got the Sules, the Asians and others. So we always monitor. If you get to my office now, you see a lot of data and the kids by picture, by name, by areas. So we did this to revamp sports across until COVID came. And in fact, things were moving up. You remember the Almighty Azamiti? You remember Cape Coast? 2017.
I know.
You realize this boy didn't win the 100 meters at the end of the day.
I still remember. I remember the likes of Sarkodie. I remember the likes of Ansan.
Beautiful. This boy was not the best. He didn't win the national festival 100 meters.
Even when he was at the University of Ghana, he wasn't one of the.
You got the point. Meaning, at the time, 2017, when I was doing my thing, there were 2 or 3 people better than him.
Yes.
Historically, 13 records were broken in Cape Coast. You remember?
I was there.
13 records in one festival. Records that were 20, 15, 18 years old.
Yeah. There was one record which was like 24 years old.
Beautiful. It took me to do that. So if you ask me what I did, this was what I did, making sure that sports were holistically revamped from the village, cottage there, up to the top. And the way we did our sports, you see, from the school level, every school in the country, you do interclass. Then you have session, you do intersession. Then every district is divided into zones. You do
is it a calendar that you provide for them?
Yes, I provide calendar from the headquarters. From day one, the entire year calendar. So my department always produce calendar for the regions to tap from and do their own programs. So it's sad that those days, we advise that, look, don't concurrently do everything, consult with your other colleagues. So when you're doing football today, that means this officer should be doing football. So we can come around to supervise. So sometimes they call director, if you can, this day I'm doing this day I'm doing this, as a Cynthia, move, go to central region. Myself, I'm in the north. Just making sure that and they were, happy that the assignment I've given them, they are doing it to the letter. So sometimes they will inform you that, director, on this day, we are here, we are doing our inter-district. The inter-district raises the regional team. If I have time, I go in there just to watch what is happening, give advice, and then come back. My job is not only to say, though I'm the director administratively, but I have things that I do, and I have things that I do on the field. So honestly, I had them under my armpits. And everybody reported, because every year you give me a report of your activities, which I put together as a report for the unit. And 2020, I got to the headquarters in 2015. 16, 17, 18, 19, 2020. We never drop out. Basic, is biennial. Yeah. This year, basic, the following year, senior high, basic, senior high, basic, senior high. Each performed within 2 years. And then the Almighty Cape Coast grew. I remember that they bumped into my office or cameras and said, my friend, what is happening? No, that year, we were not to have gone for the festival after all these preparations. No, finally, the FC, the financial controller, saw me on the corridor moving and said, hey, P, you people, are you sure you are going? I said, oh, yes, we will go. I smiled and said, we will go, because I knew what I was doing underground. He's the financial controller, but we have the budget officer, the accountant. So I was on her, madam, please. Because I already told the director general that, please don't let it happen in our time, that this year we will not go to National Festival. He said, okay, what can we do? I said, no. Just make sure the capitation is paid. One capitation is paid, but then we're about 3 or 4 in arrears, tranches in arrears. Ali, that is exposed, and so they should. The accountant called the controller before me that this is it. We are begging, this is it. So I was sure that something was going to happen. But unfortunately, what happened was not adequate enough. And that meant that maybe I should withdraw. I said, no way. Whatever you can give us, even the 10 cities, let me know. So that if it is only football, only athletics, are going to organize national, because my people have prepared. So he said, okay. I sent my budget, it was cut. I sent it again, adjustment, I sent it was cut. So when I realized this is what I have, I called my coordinator. They were all then in camp because they already set date and everything. And I said, I will not sit down for this to happen. So I said, okay, what do we do? We're on platform. So I called all the 10 regional coordinators at the time. We started discussing. We cannot hold the festival, hold it like we were planning. Because at my time, I canceled or I changed. We alternated some of the disciplines. If we play volleyball this year, next 2 years, we'll play basketball. And can you imagine? So if there's a volleyball star, that comes to SHS1.
He has to.
And that year we played, it means, once in Form 3, we're going to play basketball. He will not see volleyball again. If it is basketball, by the time we play again, it's also completed, or in the final year, we'll not get the time to play. So what are we doing? So I brought all on board. So that alternation, I seized it. So as we were planning, I realized that no, I just called my coordinator. So what we have cannot take us through all. So let's drop some of the events. What do you say? Even they suggest that then let's drop some of the events, because we were alternating. We said we're going all. Yeah. So let's see. So that's okay. Drop volleyball, drop hockey, drop table tennis. But students are in camp preparing for this. Of course, you have fed them.
The emotional affection, the psychological trauma of asking them to go.
When I realized that this is the only way I uphold that flag of organizing a national festival, sometimes you take decisions and be held responsible. So I told them, okay, let's go ahead. It's me. What do you suggest I should do? They suggested, I said, okay, I'll hold it. Drop volleyball, drop table tennis, drop hockey. Because at the time, hockey to the kids, the equipment were not there. So the information went out. Then people got angry. This man is causing financial loss.
I remember the stories.
I wasn't hearing. A guy in Cape Coast FM was blowing the thing. Me, I didn't even hear. You came to my office with machine and said, Charlie, you don't know what's happening. Listen to me. What interview are you granting to Mufta? I said, no, my boss. Let's grant you an interview. Do you know what is happening? Do you hear what people are saying? I said, oh, is that it? Let's go. And when I spoke, that guy became silent.
You offered the explanation.
Yes, because was I to abandon the whole national festival or drop some of the disciplines? Table tennis, 8 athletes, 4 boys, 4 girls. You understand? Volleyball, maximum 12. So we looked at it and said, no, let's drop. And it was a holistic decision. So people didn't understand. We realized that, asking this people to go home was not the best, but we had to do it to make sure that we did the festival. So I informed, by then too, I was in a good relationship with the various associations.
Yes.
So I called, hello, we can't do your discipline now, because they will all be there. Some of the heads of the associations come to supervise, because I give them the opportunity and even officiate. So I said, table tennis, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. Volleyball, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. Hockey, I'm sorry. He said, what? Director, why? Oh, I said, this is my headache. He said, okay, wait, don't cancel it yet. Within 3 hours, table tennis brought a check. They asked me, how much do I need to be able to retain them? I told them, they brought a check. So I called accountant and said, I've checked for this discipline. Co-op it. Hockey brought a check and equipment immediately that they cannot drop it. We should do it. No, this is it. Because I'm in a very good standing relationship with them. They understood me and said, no. Then the association will sponsor the national festival. It's never happened before. You get my point? It never happened before. And we had the best national festival, as you can witness to.
Yeah, because I remember asking you when you handed over the flag to the Upper East for them to hold. I was like, if Upper East, they don't have any facility, so where are you expecting them to go?
This is another issue. It is all the region that had up-to-date facilities. We broke records in Cape Coast because we had a very beautiful and new tracks and field. If you go to Kumasi, you don't have a problem. Cape Coast, you don't have terminally no problem. But some of the areas, Nobolga, I nearly wept. The tracks.
I wanted to go with you.
Yes. No, when it was time for athletics, we were asking tracks to come offload sand so that we'll fill some areas. Meanwhile, we are coming to run. It was not easy. So that year, I told myself, no. Though sports is meant to be rotational from this region to this, we had the time to, but I told them no. I'm going around the country to identify where the facilities are. So until further notice, likely we're building the resource centers. Until then, there are certain regions you cannot host national festival because of the injuries and other things that we suffer. So I was coming up with that. So there'll be specific regions. Likely some of the schools are very good for, if you go to Kumasi like this, Prempeh College or Pokuari, Wesley, they all have. So places like that, we don't have a problem. And the stadium is there for athletics. Even Westco Park, where they do athletics, Prempeh, they were very good. But the stadium was there. So that was what I also thought of doing, so that we kept the injuries. Because the very good ones all got injured. But you saw what happens in Cape Coast. Similar to what happened in Kumasi. As at the time, the Accra Tata was wiped off, even as we speak. So we come to Accra, where we're going? Legon or where?
Or Elwak.
That is it. We went to Elwak, it was like a concrete floor.
Yeah.
The Elwak Tata. So infrastructure is another problem. That's why at the NYA board, we pushed that these facilities should be put in place. And I pray and hope they'll complete all, because Hajide promised, Pius, that they'll finish all. So that alone, and it's multi, basketball court, volleyball court, table tennis, everything is inclusive.
You mentioned something that was quite interesting for me, which has to do with the data of the athletes that you have during your events. Are you able to monitor their progress in their various schools and how you are able to let them come into the national federations and be devolved? Did you have anything like that?
I have, fortunately. I tasked all my coordinators to make sure that these people are looked at, because they have only 3 years span. So after that festival, those who were leaving, we monitored this tertiary they went to.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That was how Azamiti got there.
Oh, okay. University of Ghana,
yes,
okay.
We monitored. And then also, when you are doing national festival, the security services, they all come down. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Yes, the security services, the armed forces, air force.
Because I've covered some of them, so I know.
Very well. They also move in there, and we give them the morale. If that's what you can do, go. And a lot of them are doing very, very, very well. Because of this thing that I had with me, having the keys and monitoring the data, you know, I was invited to present the paper in Casablanca on our school sports system. The then Minister for Youth and Sports, Asiama.
Yeah, Aziki Siam.
Said, Charlie, let's go. I said, okay. We flew in there, and I presented the paper on what we do in Ghana. About 60 countries, the US, Germany, France, UK, name them. And at the end of the day, the way the people clapped, it's like, it is not, most countries do Kobo. You know, they identify some people, they just
like
take
they don't
them and
have
go.
a specific structure
Exactly.
how they want to go about it.
But when they got to the our structure is right from the village school, inter-school, inter-session, inter-class, inter-session, inter-school, inter-zonals, inter-district, then inter-regional. So by the time you get that lab, oh, you are polished. Because you go through different coaches who polish you up till that point. Because at the region, for instance, if you're in a regional camp, all your skills are polished. Exactly. Your running skill, your playing skill, your jumping skill, your throwing skill, they are all polished. Because at that point, you know, the National Sports Authority, we have seasoned coaches for all the disciplines in each of the regions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they team up with us.
I was just about coming there, where people often say that we lack the technical men to be able to handle these.
No, if you get into the national, the regional team,
yeah,
all the regions, they polish you. And then when you come to the national festival itself, we make sure the right things are done. And we have people all over the place who actually come in to help. So I presented that paper, and then Asiama asked me, so the competition, how is it? I said, boss, we are not we are not a member of the International School Sports Association. How? That association was formed back in 1974 or so. So what do we do? We don't have to register as a member. I said, what? And I would like to say, can you? I said, yes. He said, go for the forms. So at Casablanca, I took the forms, I registered and paid the admission fee. So as I speak now, Ghana has gone international. After all our school activities, national festival, we select him. Every 2 years, we go. And that after the Cape Coast event, you know, Coach Wetia Kente were all there.
Yeah.
I said, hey, select the best for me. So every discipline, they were just selecting athletes because I wanted to keep the data. So all the disciplines performed in, they selected athletes. Then after Casablanca, they said, okay, that year, the Commonwealth Games,
yes,
the promise they gave athletes, they couldn't go, they couldn't win medals, and so those allowances had been brought back. So Ajide said, oh, Chief, are you ready? I said, yes, I have a team. So we're taking football and athletics to the International School Sports Association game. It's for under 13. Started planning everything. That was in the office when he called me and said, hey, see me immediately. So I got up, you see my office and the sports ministry. He was then the deputy minister for youth and sports. I got in a knock, the secretary told me, oh, he's not there, he's gone. I said, they might just call me that I should come. That was the day he was fired. So I said, oh, he just called that I should come. I said, oh, they've called him immediately, he's gone out. I said, So I called him, so I'm here. So okay, I'll be back. I'm on my way somewhere, so I went. Not only was called to the presidency to be fired.
Quite unfortunate.
And
but
at the end of the day, we were able to go appear for the first time at the international. We met about 60 countries. And every 2 years, we were to go. So we are in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to prepare for the next one, but COVID came in.
Yes. Then tell me something quick, because there's always this belief that sometimes if you go back to schools, sometimes the head teachers don't even value physical education. So it also makes it very difficult for these children to come out. And in fact, we actually even believe that once it's time for physical education, that's the time for everyone to run to their house, especially in our villages. I'm from one. So PE time, we go to the house, we eat and come back.
It was happening. But when...
Has that changed?
Yes, to some extent. But when the leadership itself didn't see anything good with sports, so how do you even monitor those people again? But during my tenure, no. The coordinators were on the ground because every school has a sports secretary who is a member of the district or the zonal sports activity. So they made sure the sports secretary will not allow it.
Okay, now also talk to me about the data. When you assemble these athletes, do you share with the National Federation? And say, these are the talents we had when we went for event A, B, C. So these talents, if the federations pick them up, they're going to be access to the country.
They come to me themselves. Because during the festival, all of them are assembled to monitor and select. So we work hand in hand. They all know. So some of them, swimming for instance, we don't do swimming inter-schools.
Yeah.
But I was bringing it on board. Fencing. So some of the games I brought on board were fencing, cross-country in the loop. Those that were going the route. No. So I changed cross-country on the road to the loop. You stand there, you see them move from end to end till they finish. We monitor them. Hockey. Hockey was played. How do you get to senior high school and then start training to play hockey?
In fact, that's
so I did junior hockey.
The first time I saw a hockey stick was when I got to secondary school.
But this time around, we played junior hockey. And the Hockey Association provided material, bags of sticks and balls, and all regions had it. The next thing I did was athletics.
Yes.
You see how athletics
that's actually
is?
where I was coming to.
Yes, you see how athletics was? You go and sit down, you close your festival with one soccer match. Goal, you close. But I closed my festival with athletics. And anybody who came, they were sitting on tongues, because that is what is going to make you either win the festival or lose the championship. So during my tenure, we used athletics to end the festival at the closing ceremony. And when you come there, you have something to actually be happy about.
One interesting thing that actually happened was the fact that I remember in 2017 I was seated next to my former secondary school headmaster.
Okay.
Yes, he was there. Mr. Bismarck Puli, and then my PA teacher, Peter Averu. They were all there for that. And then my former school, Boko Secondary School, were there.
Averu was my mate.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
he had
wow.
a brutal accident. Thank God he didn't die.
I heard that was quite
Averu was my mate, yes.
And that was where Larwa Sakat, that girl from Boko had an incredible run and all that. Exactly. I remember recently the Ghana Athletics, Ghana Education Service, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports came together to organize athletics championship in Kumasi just recently. Just how important that such synergy, if developed, will be able to bring athletics back to the highest level, because people look at school sports as an area that is non-existent anymore. And in fact, from where I sit, my opinion doesn't matter, but I think that a lot needs to be done if we really, really want to have talents that would fly high the flag of this country.
You see, these were some of my collaboration. I even brought the GFA Okraku to my office. We discussed how we could develop soccer and revamp it. We planned that we were going to create soccer academies in schools across the country. We discussed this. Before I left office, Otia Kenten and I, we got sponsorship from FIFA to play under 15 and select the team and go somewhere.
Regional competitions, yes.
Yes. So that program, Bawa is my close ally. the CEO, athletics.
Yeah. He's not the president.
He's not the president, yes. He comes to my office, we discuss issues. So anytime I organize national festival, for instance, I have the photo finish machine, free of charge.
Yeah.
He comes with his team, they make sure, because as I tell you, that if there was no photo finish, you don't know what it was like. Yes. No, I brought them all on board. So we worked. So I'm not surprised they organized this. But how effectively GS participated is yet to be. I don't even want to go there. So honestly,
you will have to go there because GS is they own the case. They own the children.
They own the kids. They own the children. Yes. So honestly, that program, someone called me that, hey, what is happening? Another Interco in Kumasi. I said, oh, it's not Interco. We're organizing some national something.
Friday, October 20th to Saturday, 11th of November. Watch Africa's top football clubs become the champion of champions. Al Ahly FC, Wydad AC,